What's going on, YouTube? It has been 101 days since I started investing $10 a day into Vanguard's VGT. And in today's video, I'm going to be going through how my investment has performed since that time. Now, if you're new to the channel, or if you haven't seen any of my previous updates on this portfolio, this index fund is the third fund that I added to a brand new portfolio that I started investing in right here on my channel back in January of 2024. Now, I've only been investing in VGT since March of 2025, but from an overall percentage perspective, it has been the best performing investment in this portfolio. If you've been paying attention to the stock market over the past 12 to 18 months, then you know that we have seen companies continuously hit all-time highs. If you've been sitting on the sidelines waiting for a pullback, a correction, or a recession to occur, then you've missed out on some tremendous movement in the market over the past year and a half. So we're just going to jump right in and we're going to take a look at how my portfolio has performed. So right now we're taking a look at my overall investment in VGT. Now, if you take a look to the top left of my chart here, you'll see that I have an open P&L of $172.38. and I'm up 17.07%. Now, I am recording this video on a Saturday, which is why to the right, you see the daily P&L is $0 and 0%, because of course the market is closed. Now, if we take a look at the market value, which is the total value of my investment in VGT, is $1,182.11, and I have a total cost of $1,972, which that does include some of the dividends that have been reinvested back into this position. I have an overall average price of $589.04, and I have a total quantity of 1.714 shares of this fund. And I did mention that it's the third investment in this portfolio, and it makes up 22.31% of the portfolio. And the last price that I was able to average in to this position was $689.60. All right, now we'll take a look at this screen right here, and we see that we have a 52-week high. So the highest price that this index fund has traded in over the last rolling 12-month period, $691.64. And we have the 52-week low of $450.51. So big delta, big gap between the two. And we were able to average in when we had the pullback earlier in the year, which was nice. Unfortunately, it didn't last as long as I had hoped it would, but we have been averaging in at the 52-week low. And of course, we've been averaging in as it's made its way back up towards the 52-week high. So right now we're taking a look at a bar graph of the movement of Vanguard's VGT since March of 2024. So each one of these lines on here represent 1 week of movement in this fund. And as you can see, we have seen some movement to the upside on this. And then of course that big move to the downside, which did touch the purple line there around the 450.51, which was the 52-week low. And as you can see, we are starting to move tremendously back up to the upside. I have had several people leave comments that mention that they would prefer to invest in SCHG as opposed to VGT. And I think that's fine. It's more of a preference thing. I like VGT because it focuses on aggressive growth, technology-based companies. Whereas funds like SCHG, although they're aggressive growth, they don't primarily focus on technology companies. They have a mixture of technology and non-technology companies such as Visa. SCHG is also substantially cheaper than Vanguard's VGT. The last time I checked, SCHG was hovering around $30 a share, whereas as you can see, we're at around $675 a share on VGT. I'm not too concerned about the pricing because I am buying fractional shares. I'm not going in and buying full shares of this fund all at once, and I like the direction of where this is heading. As we become more dependent on technology such as AI, I think that tech companies are well positioned to continue to hit all-time highs. But again, if your preference is to invest in an SCHG or a different aggressive growth fund like a QQQ, I think that's fine. And then right here, I just want to walk through just some of the top holdings in Vanguard's VGT. I won't read them all, but at the top, you've got NVIDIA, you've got Microsoft, Apple, Broadcom, Oracle, Palantir. And a lot of these companies on this list have continued to hit all-time highs. So if I just quickly go over and take a look at the NVIDIA chart, this is a weekly chart from June of 2024. And as you can see, since the pullback around March of this year, we have seen NVIDIA continue to hit all-time highs. And right now we're trading up near $175 a share. And I have seen some analysts say that they believe that NVIDIA can be as high as $290. That's the price target that I've seen on NVIDIA. So now we're taking a look at the Microsoft chart, and it goes back to June of 2024. This is the weekly chart that we're taking a look at, and it has a very similar price action and price movement as NVIDIA does. You see that it was moving sideways, and then we saw the pullback in March. And then of course we see that tremendous movement to the upside, similar to what we saw in the NVIDIA chart. Microsoft is one of my core holdings in my 401k, as well as my other investment accounts as well. And that's just another reason of why I prefer to invest in Vanguard's VGT. Now, SCHG also invests in Microsoft and NVIDIA as well, but the percentage that is allocated in that fund to those two companies is lower than what they are in VGT. And then the last company I'll take a look at here is we're taking a look at the Apple chart here. Now, on the Apple chart, you do see that it followed a similar price action as Microsoft and NVIDIA, where we were moving sideways or moving to the upside, and then we had the sharp pullback. However, Apple has not responded and bounced back the same way that NVIDIA and Microsoft has. I know that there's a lot of chatter out there talking about Apple's lack of innovation and how they need to come up with new products, new services, new offerings to excite their consumer base to actually go out and spend more money in that space. I'm not ready to give up on Apple yet. I think that they will be able to bounce back. And as you can see on this chart here, I did draw right around the price action here to where it's actually flagging. And to me, that looks like it potentially could be a bull flag forming. If you are familiar with technical analysis, a bull flag typically forms prior to movement to the upside. Now, I do think that Apple will start to make its move to the upside, but since it is a blue chip behemoth, doesn't have as much innovation as an NVIDIA, for example, it's just going to be a little bit more of a slower moving company when it comes to its movement to the upside. All right, guys, so that's my investment in Vanguard's VGT. So overall, it has been the best performing investment in my portfolio from a percentage perspective. Now, on my last update, I did mention that I was looking for one additional investment to add to my portfolio. I have narrowed that down to two choices. I'll decide by the end of the week. I'm going to be dropping a video later in the week detailing my overall portfolio. And at that time, I'll definitely have a decision made and we'll let you guys know what I'm going to be investing in. All right, guys, so leave a comment down below. Do you like Vanguard's VGT or would you prefer to invest in something else? And if you would prefer to invest in something else, why? I'm not questioning your investment decision. I just think the more information that we can share in the comment section about what you're investing in and why can help other people that may be new to investing and they're trying to make a decision on what to invest in. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.